Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. What is Hey Bales doing? I'm Bailey, but you can call me Bales. And this is a series about my move to New York City. And I'm really excited about this specific episode because I'm gonna answer the big question you've all been asking, which is, how are we getting there? So if this is your first time checking out any of these videos from this series, long story short, I am moving from Houston, Texas to New York City with my wonderful husband, Monish. If you haven't seen the very first episode, highly recommend. That one's super great. It's about finding an apartment. The second episode is all about packing, downsizing, getting rid of stuff because we had a lot to get rid of. But now I'm going to answer everybody's main question, how are we getting there? So first of all, people have asked me constantly, what about our cars? I had a car, Monish had a car. That's everybody's question. How are you guys getting your cars there? And to answer that, first of all, we are not. We sold them! Yeah, we sold both of our cars because we really don't need them in New York City. Like, who needs a car up there? First of all, if you take a vehicle to move up into New York City, you have to pay monthly to park it where you live. Even in Jersey, guys, even just across the river in Jersey City, we have friends who live in Jersey City and they pay $250 a month to park their vehicle where they live. That's an added fee on top of everything. And what we found is apartments in New York City had this same exact thing. Sure, you can bring your car, but you're gonna have to pay to park it here. That's not including gas, maintenance, all the things. So we live literally a 7-minute walk from the Metro Rail. So we said, screw it. We don't need these. That's a liability. Cars, guys, are a massive liability because you constantly have to pay to fix them. And we're done with it. So we sold them and we're so happy because that is just a big weight off of both of our shoulders, getting rid of those so quickly, actually. The next question is, so how are we getting there? There are a couple of options. I am not going to spend a lot of time exploring them because the main one is the best one, and it's so exciting. I can't wait to share that with you. But one of the options that we did have was to have somebody come pick up all of our stuff, ship it up there for us, and then we fly and we land and then everything's cool. That's very fucking expensive. That is. I think the cheapest we saw for just the moving people to get our stuff and move it there for us was like $3,000, like starting. And that's not including our flights, which it's not just one, it's not just two, but it's 3 because we have a pug and you have to pay to fly your pet. And then, things like that. And that's a huge liability too with somebody else shipping our stuff 1,700 miles. So the option that we did go with, because we did explore a bunch of options, guys, we decided instead to rent our own U-Haul and drive it all the way up there, 1,700 miles. And you guys, some of y'all are like, oh my God, you are insane. And I would probably agree with you if it was not for the most beautiful thing ever, which is the fact that my husband has an enormous family. And literally, when I was looking at the map of us going up there, I came up with this idea back in like April. I realized he's got 5 different family members that we know pretty well, like that live en route from here to New York. 5 family members that if we needed to stay in their home, like they would be more than happy to welcome us. Actually, 3 of those homes, they've been trying to get us to come stay with them forever. So a little backstory, my husband is Indian. And in Indian families, well, just in Indian culture in general for the most part, guys, hospitality is super, super important. So I have married into his family, which means his relatives, they want to host us. That's just part of the culture. It's like, hey, come stay at our house and let me treat you like a guest. And I wish I could remember it off the top of my head, but there is a phrase in Hindi that means guest is God, where you have to treat them like you would treat God if he was in your home, like in your home. So it's such a beautiful thing. I really wish other cultures would adopt that. And I'm telling y'all, I'm so pissed that nobody wants to come stay with us in Houston, because I would love to get to do that for other people. I love to host too. So I'm hoping that now that we're moving to a cool city, not that Houston isn't cool, but it's not a tourist city. I'm hoping I can do that for some of his relatives moving forward. So y'all keep that in mind. But yeah, so that said, we are road tripping all the way up there, and me being me, because I'm so extra, I have named our road trip, and it is called Tour de Thakore. So that might sound familiar. If some of you guys have heard of Tour de France, you might see where I'm going there with that. I actually made shirts because I'm that ridiculous, y'all. I am so excited. This one's of course mine because it's pink. I'm making a black one for my husband because that's his favorite color. But yeah, so look, there's even a moving truck, and there's 4 little points on there. And let me just tell you why there's 4. And I'm just so proud of this shirt. So I'm just gonna just wear it like this for a second. But we are actually starting out our road trip. Now, our first relative who lives close enough to us in Texas is all the way in Atlanta, Georgia, which is far. That's like, I want to say 16 hours. And just so you're aware, if we were to drive from Houston straight all the way to Astoria, New York, it would take us non-stop without any stopping. It would take like 24 hours straight of driving. So that is why it's so beautiful. He has so many people along the way. Because hear me out. Between here and Atlanta, Georgia, like I said, it's about 16 hours-ish. So we are going to start our trip by heading to Mobile, Alabama, or that general area. And we're going to just stay there for one night in a hotel, because that's about 8-hour drive from Houston. And that's an 8-hour drive without stops in a regular vehicle. So it's probably going to take us at least 10 hours in this damn U-Haul. So we'll just stay there one night just to sleep it off, and then continue our journey on the next day, where we will arrive in Atlanta, Georgia, our first little point on the trip. So he's got an auntie who lives there, and then a great uncle and auntie, which I told this uncle, I told him like 3 years ago I would come stay at his house in Atlanta. And we just haven't been able to. We've had a crazy busy life and a lot happening. And even at my wedding in March, y'all, he reminded me that I said I would come stay with him in Atlanta. So when I told Monish about this idea of like us staying with all the relatives, he was like, he doesn't like to disturb people. And I was literally like, your uncle said, he reminded me at our wedding in March that I still have not come to stay with him. So hello, this is the perfect opportunity. We're going to hit so many houses along the way. Everybody can finally host us like they want to. And real quick, I forgot to mention that Thakore, that's my husband's last name. So that's where the term Tour de Thakore comes from, because we're staying at all of the Thakore houses along the way. So much fun. So we're going to stay in Atlanta for 2 nights so that we can spend some time with family and not just brush through, say hi, and leave. Like, that's rude. So we're going to stay with them for 2 nights. So from there, we're going to head from Atlanta, Georgia, all the way to Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is only about a 3 or 4 hour car ride. It's actually pretty close. And we'll stay with his other auntie there, his Foy, and we'll stay with her for 2 nights. Again, we want to be able to actually spend some time with our family. And then we'll leave her place and drive to Cary, North Carolina to stay with his other uncle. And we'll stay there for about 2 days. And then we'll leave from his place and drive to Frederick, Maryland to stay with his cousin who recently had a child. And we have not met our nephew yet. So we're actually really excited to get to meet our nephew. And then I said 5 because right next to Frederick, Maryland, he's got a cousin who also lives in Alexandria, Virginia. So that's really close to Frederick, Maryland. If y'all don't know, it's like 30, 45-minute drive. So the cousin who lives there, he's probably going to come hang out with us in Maryland so that we can see a bunch of family all at once. And then the final destination is New York City. It's really cool. We're going to be doing this over about, I think it's like 10 days. I think it's 8 days actually, because we pick up the U-Haul a day before we leave and then we drop it off a day after we get there. So yeah, like I'm so pumped. I hate road trips, but we're breaking it up so much, guys. Because like I said, the first 2 pieces of the trip, so going from here to Alabama and then Alabama to Georgia, that's the most driving we're gonna have to do. That is an 8-hour chunk and another 8-hour chunk. Boom, boom, day 1 and 2, done. By the time we get to Dadu Kaka's house in Atlanta, Georgia, then it's only about 4 hours to the next stop, and about 4 hours to the next stop, and about 4 or 5 hours to the next stop, and then 5 hours to the final stop. That's it. It really breaks it all up, which is just so cool. That, like, how amazing is that, you guys? That not only does my husband have like such an enormous family that we have so many people along the way, but also that they're excited to host us. Like we personally called everybody to talk to them, and we told them we're gonna have a U-Haul truck with us. So like, be mindful of that. Also, we're bringing a pug. So just so everybody knows, we got a little dog with us. Everybody was cool. I'm excited. They're excited. This is gonna be cool. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So stay tuned, because these t-shirts are just one of the surprises of this trip. I'm definitely going to be posting footage, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys, because I don't know how the first few days are going to go. I know Monish is dreading it. I think it'll be fine. I will post updates and footage, and yeah, so you guys make sure that you are subscribing to the channel and stay tuned for the next one.